My name is Hussein Fahmy. I am a professional actor. For much of my life, I've tried to do my part to help the less well-off in our society. I've been involved with charitable organizations, and some of my films have dealt with the social problems of our age, like poverty and drug abuse. This is my 5th year as Regional Ambassador of Goodwill to the United Nations for Egypt and the Arab world. And it is something that I am very proud of, to be part of it, and provides me with a chance to speak on behalf of an organization which has done much to help millions of people all over the world. Today, there are 22 organizations belonging to the UN family working here in Egypt. Every one of these organizations is helping to improve the lives of our people. A lot of people know the United Nations through the images they see in the news. Images of blue helmets in conflict zones, or of aid workers offering humanitarian assistance to people in need. But this program will show what many people do not see, the story of how the UN helps people in their day-to-day lives. From giving our young people a better standard of education, to lending support to the civil aviation authorities, or helping with the efficiency of the Egyptian postal system. From helping poor women to get modern advice on reproductive health, to advising our national institutions on industrial development and telecommunications, or on labor policies and drug addiction. The UN is even helping thousands of refugees who come to Egypt seeking protection, ensuring they can get all the help they need to survive as well as hope for a better future. But where does this story begin? In 1945, Egypt was one of 50 nations which signed up to the Charter of a New World Organization, committed to preventing war and help to improve the lives of all people worldwide. For the past 50 years, the United Nations has helped make tremendous changes in the way people live their lives by reducing hunger and poverty, eradicating many diseases from the face of the earth, and helping millions of people to find secure income. But in September 2000, at the Millennium Summit, hosted by the United Nations in New York, world leaders agreed that there was a need to recommit to the goals of peace, human rights, and development. Like the other 188 countries that signed up to the Millennium Declaration, Egypt agreed to achieve targets for reducing poverty, protecting the environment, improving education and opportunities for women, and improving access to health services for all citizens. Our government has made a commitment to reach these Millennium Development Goals by the year 2015. And this program will show how the UN is helping Egypt to achieve these goals and targets.
One of the most important Millennium Development Goals is the agreement to reduce poverty by half by the year 2015. The United Nations and the government say that Egypt is on track to achieving this goal, but the benefits of development are not spread evenly across the country, and the United Nations is now helping the government to measure more accurately the degree of poverty in different regions. Reducing human poverty means more than helping to generate incomes. It also means giving people an education, helping them to participate in decisions concerning the management of land and resources, and finding solutions to environmental problems. In the past, the Bedouin of the Sinai Peninsula were able to follow their nomadic lives on this historic land. But over the past 25 years, Bedouin life has become untenable, water resources have become limited, and these communities have had to fight the consequences of poverty. Salim's family is one of those which are now benefiting from a joint United Nations and government program to resettle Bedouin communities.
The house we used to live in before was a house made of wool. It was made of strips woven by the women from lamb and sheep wool. We used to sleep on the sand or on lamb skin in the winter. What can I say? It was a difficult life. When the storms and wind came, sometimes the house would collapse on our heads. And when the flash floods came, it used to pass beneath us. It was a big problem.
The United Nations-assisted project has helped Salim and his family to improve their quality of life by providing safe housing, clean water, and a means to generate his own income through small-scale agricultural activities. In a few years, Salim plans to grow peaches and other fruits which he will be able to sell to nearby markets. And while the Salim's family are building their new lives, the United Nations provides food supplies. This assistance temporarily helps cover the basic needs of the community until it is able to stand on its own and provide for itself. Today, over 6,000 Bedouin are directly benefiting from the United Nations assistance. And through the water points, community dikes, schools and healthcare centres built by the project, at least 80,000 people in northern Sinai have better public services. But of course, resettling large numbers of people can cause problems such as damage to the environment. For example, these farmers from near Aswan plant hibiscus and other crops around Lake Nasser. Because the lake is a reservoir of fresh drinking water for all of Egypt, they are not allowed to use chemical pesticides in their crop. By not polluting the lake, the farmers are contributing to the Millennium Development Goal, which commits Egypt to protect the environment. At the same time, the United Nations is helping them to produce an organic chemical-free crop that sells well in the market. Resettlement is one approach to giving people a chance to get out of poverty by giving them a new start. It represents the government's commitment to develop previously uninhabited land and to exploit its natural resources while being part of the long-term vision of reducing the overpopulation around the Nile Delta and Nile Valley. The northwest coast between Al Alamein and Marsa Matruh is one region which has been selected for future development. Economic growth in Egypt will contribute to the country reaching the Millennium Goal of reducing poverty. However, 20 million landmines on this land, a legacy of World War II, are an obstacle to this development vision. Acres of grazing land, opportunities for exploiting minerals like bentonite, gypsum, oil and gas. There is the potential for tourist areas and even commercial free zones. Thousands of potential jobs and numerous projects put on hold. Like the Hammam Canal, which has already been dug, but carries no water because the area around it is full of minefields. Egypt is looking for help from the international community to remove the landmines which over 60 years have maimed and injured thousands of people. At the same time, the United Nations says that mine clearance is a development priority and not only a concern for military experts. The effort now involves finding the latest mine detection technologies which are appropriate to the terrain of Egypt's western desert and finding the money to make the land free of mines and other explosives. While the Northwest Coast Development Plan offers future opportunities, many Egyptians are finding daily solutions to poverty with the help of the United Nations. Building human skills and knowledge is as much a part of poverty reduction as finding people jobs and regular incomes. Samia is from Muqattam, the garbage collectors' village near Cairo. Through education, she's been able to escape poverty.
I am one of the garbage collector's daughters. I used to wake up at midnight and go out with my father. Because I was the youngest of my siblings, he had no one but me. We were responsible for areas downtown Cairo, so we used to come back at 4 p.m. After they applied for me in school, our donkey-pulled cart was stolen, so they did not send me to school so I can go out with my father and guard the cart, and I was denied education.
Today, Samia does the accounts for an NGO which is supported by a United Nations Fund for the Environment. The NGO is helping the community to create jobs through the recycling of rubbish. At the same time, the community is also contributing in a small part to the Millennium Goal of protecting Egypt's environment.
After a while, the Association for the Protection of the Environment opened. At the time, I did not read or write, and I came and there was the carpet project. With the carpet there was literacy education. I used to have trouble writing carpet, so I had to learn in the literacy class the word carpet or to write bathroom set. The system of our literacy class was to learn using the work we do, how to write carpet, how to write bathroom set, or how to write the word Egypt on a carpet and divide it up.
But achieving the Millennium Targets of reducing poverty and protecting the environment does not only rely upon providing people with the means to fulfill their basic needs like food, water, a job, education and health services. It also involves giving people a chance to have real control over their lives and the opportunity to participate in the decisions which will affect them. Sheikh Abdel Qadir is driving to his brother's house in a Bedouin settlement outside Marsa Matruh, where the Council of Elders is in session. As a member of the council, he'll be deciding with his peers where the new wells that the Matruh project will be drilling should be located. The project, supported by the United Nations, encourages a management system in which the community decides how to allocate their resources.
The Matruh Resources Project is called the project by participation. We are the one that decide who will take the well, who deserves the well. The quantity offered is not enough for everyone. We need 100 wells, but are given 25 or 30. So it is us who decide who should get the well first, who has priority, and we give him the well. Every community here has 7 to 9 representatives, and they consult with our elders. And based on that, we agree on the beneficiaries. Then, we go to the management and say, this is who should get the well, because he's the one in most need.
The Bedouin society here is very close, and it's from this spirit of solidarity that the communities have nurtured the tradition of Rughata, a tradition which is built on the social cooperation of the local people.
The Rughata came about because we live in a harsh environment. And if the community did not help each other, we could not have survived here. Suppose my land gets rain and other areas do not. So my neighbors would come and harvest with me, and I would give them part of my crop. Not as wage for their work, because there are wage workers available. But they take part of my crop, because every year we have to keep seeds for the following year. So, if he has no crop, then he has no seeds for next year. He takes part of the crop to use as seeds for next year, and the other part he uses for his family, or for feed, or whatever he wants.
And though often it's local communities who know best how to manage their land, sometimes new technologies can be employed to enhance agricultural production and preserve the environment while also helping people to use their natural resources more effectively. Like the United Nations support to the development of hybrid rice, which could result in higher yields of rice grown on less land and using less water, or using biotechnologies to clean polluted water and contribute to the Millennium Goal of protecting the environment. With the United Nations' help, Egypt is testing a method for cleaning the sewage waters which flow along Bahr al-Bakr drainage canal into Lake Manzala, damaging the natural wildlife and environment along the Mediterranean coast. The project has built a water purification station that takes the drain's polluted water and purifies it before dumping it into the lake. What is unique about this process is that it does not use any chemicals. The water is pumped up from the canal into large basins where it is left to settle for 2 days. The heavier pollutants in the water will settle to the bottom during that period, and the cleaner water from the surface is then pumped through special pipes into massive surface treatment basins. These basins contain a number of natural plants like straw, water lilies and goldilocks. The roots of these water plants absorb any chemicals in the water and enrich it with pure oxygen. After some further purification, most of the water is pumped back into the drain, but a small proportion will be used for fish farming and agricultural activities, all using a natural method. Very soon, this project will give 30 to 40 families around Lake Manzella a better quality of water. The hope is that in the next 10 years, the lessons learned from this experiment will renew water resources for hundreds of thousands of people across the country.
High level of adult illiteracy in Egypt, especially among women, are an obstacle to people fully participating in the national life. Thus, the benefits of a well-educated society begin with investments in high-quality education for all children. Unfortunately, large numbers of Egyptian girls have not always been able to access the education which is their right as contained in the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, which Egypt ratified in 1990.
This is why the Egyptian government, the United Nations and other donors began establishing schools in deprived regions of the country, which specifically encouraged girls' education. The initiative started in 1992 with the Community School Project, which 10 years later has established 201 schools nationwide, reaching 7,600 pupils, 70% of whom are girls. This was complemented in 1993 by the One Classroom School initiative, which targeted girls in deprived rural hamlets. After 2 years, these initiatives were joined together, marking the start of the community education movement in Egypt. And today, 7 UN agencies are working together with the National Council for Childhood and Motherhood and are supporting a national plan of action for girls' education, a plan which will help Egypt come closer to achieving the Millennium Targets of improving school enrollment rates and reducing illiteracy. In her small village near Sohag, Huda is walking to her school. Hers is a one-classroom community school that employs modern teaching methods like self-directed activities, learning by doing, working in groups, and children participation in managing the classroom. Iman is the class facilitator. Her job is to come up with creative ways to deliver the lessons without the children getting bored. She follows Egypt's national curriculum, which is supplemented by subjects such as health, environment, agriculture, and local history. The children learn in an attractive way using art, songs, and games.
We teach subjects through intelligent and active learning. There is action in the classroom, and the kids love the facilitators unlike the old times when we used to hide when we saw the teacher. Now, they really love her. Once, I woke up late with a headache, and I usually never miss school. I don't like that. I was surprised to find most of the kids came to take me from my house.
And it's this type of enthusiasm which demonstrates the extent to which Iman's approach has changed her pupils' attitude to learning. She knows that improving the quality of education reduces the risk of children dropping out of school. The attention to quality is also due to the regular meetings where Iman and other facilitators assess what has been taught during the day while also planning classes for the following day. Because of the uniqueness of the teaching approach, the children not only love their school, but most of them pass with flying colours when they attend the district formal exams in the government schools. After a full day of learning and games, Huda goes home to her family. Her brothers support her education and they even help her with her studies. Huda plans to continue her education.
I will continue until I become a doctor. I will finish and go to the secondary school in town. After secondary school, I will surely continue and go to college until I become what I want. I want to become a doctor so I can serve my country and my people.
On the other side of town is Manga's home. Manga's aspirations and outlook are quite different.
If I had learned when I was younger, I would have not been married at such an early age. I would have known a lot of things. If my child were sick, I would know how to give him the medicine. We don't have that. Our father was not educated and he did not educate us. Now we just sit at home like this.
All around Egypt, there are women and girls like Iman and Huda who who are now leading better lives because they were given a chance to prove themselves. They've been empowered to take charge of their lives. And this is what Egypt has agreed to in the Millennium Declaration, to provide women with the opportunity to make life choices which will help them achieve a better social standard and an active part in the country's economic development. In Fayoum, the United Nations is working with a local NGO to help women who are the main breadwinners in their households. Fayoum alone has over 100,000 families headed by women, almost 500,000 people. The project is helping these women to become small entrepreneurs with the power to